Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Up Your Alley. It's a podcast with two best friends. That's me. My name is Taylor Edgar, and with me, as always, is my best friend, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hi, buddy.
It's a show where we recommend things to each other, and we come back a week later and rate them between 1 and 3, depending on how much it is up our individual alleys. The score right now is 55 to 54. I've got a slight lead over Jacob, but anything is possible. This week, we're going to be looking at my recommendation for Jake, which is the 2022 George Miller film, 3,000 Years of Longing, as well as Jake's recommendation for me, which is the 1978 Martin Scorsese documentary / really concert film.
Just a concert film, but yeah, that's a perfect way to call it.
It's the Last Waltz, the last concert of the band. You want to get the band jokes out of the way first, or?
I like how they wanted to call themselves the Beatles. There you go. That's my joke.
Funny jokes.
And they're like, what about the Rolling Stones? I'm like,
but
yeah,
the Last Waltz. It's kind of the pinnacle of...
No. I got the name of the band, guys. It's Roy Orbison.
Just Roy Orbison?
Damn it! What do you mean?
Just go through all the Wilburys.
Just keep going. Bob, can we use your name for a band?
So we're going to be talking about those things. First, we're going to do what we do every week and recap. We're both stretching. It's another late night one.
It's been a good day.
Yeah?
You know what happened today? Summer Games Fest. Do you see it?
No. What's that?
That is Jeff Keighley's little present thing.
Yeah?
He stands on a stage and he's like, check out these games coming out.
Anything cool?
A little later. There's two things that I was cared about.
Yeah?
That was Alan Wake 2.
Never played the first one.
I love those games.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah.
But Alan Wake 2 looks fantastic. It's going to be a horror game.
Was that like...
It's from the people that made Max Payne. I know you played that.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of Max Payne. It's a little noir, right? Like kind of horror noir.
Yeah. And it's nice. You play Alan Wake, who's a guy who has writer's block, goes to a small town, and it's inspired by Twin Peaks. That's what I want.
Oh, god damn it. Twin Peaks again.
It's... he goes out, his wife freaks out, calls for him, and he sees some being pulling her into the lake that they're at. Ooh. So he dives into the lake, and then he wakes up behind the wheel of a car, almost teetering on the edge of a cliff.
Really?
And he's just gets out, and he's like, okay, like, where the hell am I? And, like, where's my wife, and what the fuck's going on?
So this is the trailer for the second one.
The second one...
Oh, that's all the first one?
That's the first one.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the second one is Alan Wake is in a, like, mirror world.
Oh, boy.
Of what the actual world is, and you play as two different characters. One doing the real world mystery, and then Alan Wake fighting through the shadow world.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
And this excited you?
So exciting, dude.
Nice.
I've been waiting, like, 10 years for this sequel.
Huh.
So it's amazing that they're even doing it.
Have you played Diablo 4 yet?
No, I have not.
Still in the Tears of the Kingdom, huh?
No, actually.
Whoa.
You know what's happening?
Did you beat Tears of the Kingdom?
No.
No.
I just kind of got to take a break.
All right, that's fair.
I'm playing, it's called Ys.
Can you spell?
Y-S.
Okay.
Ys. Memories of Celceta. Guess what country of origin this game is from?
It sounds Japanese.
It's so Japanese.
It's so Japanese.
But it's so good. Oh my gosh.
What are you playing that on?
It's on PlayStation. You can get it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5.
Sell me on it. Give me an elevator pitch.
So it's an action RPG.
Okay.
You get a squad of 3 people, and you hack and slash. The thing is, you play a guy named Adel. You lost your memories, and you came out of the forest. It's called the Forbidden Forest to get to this town. And they're like, oh, okay, so like, this is great because shit's happening in this forest that's really scaring us. So we would, if you just go back in there, you know, you could probably get some of your memories and you could track out the forest for us and, you know, let us what it's like. And you're like, deal, because you're Adel. This is like the 6th game in the series, and you're like, I'm a super cool adventurer dude. Like, I
never
love doing
heard
this
of this.
stuff. I know, me neither, but then I totally got into it.
Oh, was it like the first couple games were Japan only?
No. They're all in America. It's just they didn't really grab the zeitgeist like any of the other games. But, like, they've been around for a very long time. And it's just fun action. When you get into a dungeon, you start playing, heavy metal starts playing, and it's the only type of heavy metal that I really like.
While you're playing a video game.
Yeah.
That checks out.
And you're like, oh my god. And you're killing dozens of monsters and shit. Nice. It's good.
Yeah, I'm still trapped in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's pretty much my whole life.
I got all the temples done.
I
got 4 temples done.
Did you get all of them?
Exactly. I started up on one and I was like,
I want to
stop. Yeah.
I found one by accident.
Yeah.
And I was like really impressed.
Yeah. I didn't, because I don't know. Should we spoil it? Would it be all right just to talk about it?
If we're talking about the same thing, because if you spoil something for me, it's not
in
one
the
of them.
sky.
You start in the sky.
Yes.
And then you get low.
Yes.
Like Lil Jon said.
I just wanted to check out that cloud.
So did I.
Man.
And then I'm like, oh, there's a shrine in there.
And now I'm like, I got to go away.
And you got to
I don't
follow
want to
this.
start this.
God, that's so much fun.
It was great.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is way more involved than I thought it was going to be.
I went and saw, over the weekend when I was taking some time away from Zelda, I went and saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes, sir.
Which you have not seen yet.
No, I have not.
We both had this pretty high up on our most anticipated movies.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get it this weekend.
Yeah, and it lives up to it. Like, it's
That's wonderful.
fantastic. The animation is top notch.
I've even had friends say that it's better than the first one.
You know, it's different than the okay. So no spoilers for this because it was announced and I just forgot. It's a 2-parter.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
So the next one's coming out in March. So it ends on a cliffhanger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
They Matrix Reloaded it.
Okay, that's fine.
You remember the Matrix Reloaded?
We was it just a couple years ago? Maybe it was this last year.
Yeah, we rewatched the Matrix
the
movies.
original trilogy, and I was shocked at how good they all were.
Yeah,
Right?
but I'm just saying, like,
But
the
yes,
ending.
yes.
So it just cuts and it says
Yeah.
to be continued.
Yeah.
I went with my kid.
Yeah.
She was irate for a little bit, and she's like, "They can't just do that." I'm like, "Well, they did.
Yeah.
That's how it works."
They
She's
shouldn't
like,
do
when,
that.
When does the next one come out? And I'm like, I don't know, March, I think. She's like, can we go see it then? I'm like, yeah. And then I told her, I was like, they used to do this in movies. Like, I think she's used to the Marvel, because I guess in Marvel, really only Infinity War had a cliffhanger. But it was it wasn't like a, horrible cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It had somewhat of an ending. This
of these
literally
movies
leaves
were-
you like a comic book would, because that's what it is.
None of these
Like-
movies were really sequel bait. The Marvel movies,
No, like because you knew there was another one coming.
Yeah, and
but they
also
wanted
it
to make
was
it
its
so
own-
that's self-contained.
Yeah.
And I know at the end of Infinity War, like half the people die and everything like that, but you're just like, oh, I'm more excited about this. This cuts just like in Matrix Reloaded, where it's just like,
all right,
whoa,
catch a
okay,
breath.
okay,
Come
okay,
back.
and then just like poof, and then it's done. And I was all for it. Like the art style, like I said, is great. The voice cast is fantastic, and it's just really great Spider-Man.
All right.
That's
what I like to hear.
I have seen a couple think pieces online that's just like, oh, there's this new generation that's going to have Miles Morales is when you say, oh, who's Spider-Man's secret identity? They'll say, oh, it's Miles Morales.
Yeah, and I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because they aged Peter up.
Yes.
To be us.
And I really do like Peter as, like, I think it's probably because, obviously Spider-Man started in the 60s, so people that actually were teenagers when Spider-Man first came out are boomers are dead by now.
But when Spider-Man started popping off, it was
Right,
when
in
we
the
were
2000s.
kids. Yeah.
Like, I think first Spider-Man came out in 2000, 2001,
Yeah,
something like
but
that.
like
Tobey
the,
Maguire one.
The Spider-Man cartoon.
Right,
would be
in the
one
early 90s.
When it started really popping into the zeitgeist
And
for us.
I really do like the thing now where it's like, in this one, Peter B. Parker, the one that Jake Johnson voices, he comes back and he has a kid.
Yeah,
He
see?
wears her in like little baby Bjorn, Mayday Parker, who goes on and does her own thing in the comics and stuff. But it's nice that I still love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I still relate to Peter Parker.
Exactly.
Because if Peter Parker's the kid, like Tom Holland Peter Parker, I don't relate to that Peter Parker.
I could feel you.
I mean, I like it.
I get the angst of it,
Yeah.
the kid stuff. But yeah, Peter's an older Peter or
Right.
something that,
Yeah, and
really
I
vibes
do
with
like
me.
this that now my Peter Parker's like, I'm like, yeah, let fucking Miles be Spider-Man. I want
But Miles is still a really cool kid.
Miles
too.
is a great character.
He's a wonderful character.
Yeah.
He's got a whole different set of circumstances
Right.
that he has to navigate to find out what his idea of a man is. And that's awesome. That's something you should absolutely explore.
But he's got like a dad who's a cop, which
Yeah.
is, Spider-Man had Gwen Stacy's dad was a cop.
Yeah,
but
Justice being inside of his family like that, and that's
Yeah.
that's a wonderful moral quandary
Yeah.
because he's like, I'm breaking the law like right in front of my dad, but it's also for something that's good,
exactly.
but it's also putting me in danger, which is bad, and it kind of puts my
Yeah.
family in danger, but that's great.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm definitely all for it. These movies are fantastic.
Yeah.
And just, really well thought out, too. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, they really know what the fuck they're doing.
I know.
And
it's amazing.
Yeah, do you see Clone High's coming back pretty soon?
Did you know?
That's them.
I heard a rumor.
What?
That they're working on Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, they are.
It's a movie.
Yeah, with Ryan Gosling, the baby goose.
I didn't know it was them.
Yeah. Did you read that book?
I read a little bit of it. I still got it.
Yeah.
I'll finish her off.
Oh,
now, I'll definitely finish her off.
Oh, yeah. But it's just one of those things where Solo, which I think Solo was a good movie. I think more and more, the more times I've watched it, I think I've watched it like 4 or 5
Phil
times.
Lord
Now.
and then
They were
Solo?
supposed to do it.
Oh, okay.
And then they got fired.
Yeah, Ron Howard.
Ron Howard took over.
Yeah.
And, it's great to see them being like, hey, I like them back from Clone High. And Clone High's coming back, too. And I want to see what that's like.
Yeah.
And
maybe you should wait till the end of the podcast to find out what you're going to get recommended to.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe you should wait till the end of the podcast.
All right. Well, speaking of getting to the end of the podcast.
I'm going to say something. This is a little, what we call a little teaser.
Oh, yeah? A little sizzle?
what might be happening at the end of the podcast here.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. My voice is shot. I don't know.
I swear to God, it's the air quality.
Most people living on the East Coast of the United States know that the air quality is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's that.
And I was sick last weekend, and it just like as soon as I was starting to feel better, it just got smoky outside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit.
I was in my house, and I'm fine. Within like the drive here, I could just start feeling my throat getting scratchy.
Yeah.
Know? That's
it's
fucking wild.
It's fucking.
This is scary.
My favorite thing on the internet this week, besides the fact that the world's on fire and aliens are real, because someone on Reddit, I forget what fucking subreddit I found it on, but it made the most sense where I'm just, because we have a thing going on this podcast where I like conspiracy theories. Jake thinks they're a gateway to bad things, which some of them are.
Yeah.
But someone's just like, said that the government turned on their weather machine, created all these clouds because all the whistleblowers came out about the UFOs, so they have to move them from the East Coast to their naval base, which is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, off what used to be a forgotten continent. And that's where they keep all the alien stuff, but they couldn't move them with people looking because everyone has phones now. So now they covered the entire East Coast with clouds so they could move the spaceships out. And I'm just like, it's the perfect fucking plan.
Because everybody's using their eyes.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not
Exactly.
They're super silent, so you're not going to worry about listening
They
to them.
are. They bend gravity around them, Jacob.
Why
are you doing Trump hands? Why are you doing Trump hands?
Because I am making points right now. All right,
Jake playing the little invisible accordion like the former president did.
You can see.
Yeah.
These ships, these wonderful ships.
No.
They make no noise.
No.
You can't. All you can do is see them with your human eyes.
But you can't see them.
They're infrared cloaking.
Perfect.
You can't see them with heat vision. You can't see them with X-rays.
But you got to turn on the weather machine.
But if your cameras are on or your eyes are on,
you're going to see them.
You're going to see them. That's the only thing that they couldn't find out. It's the one thing.
I just read that and I was like, checks out. Checks out.
Those are fun conspiracy theories. That's somebody that just like.
That's why I hated, in going back to that one episode, that's why I hated thinking back on that.
Yeah.
I really hate how it ruined how things can be fun.
Yeah.
Because I hate when it's like things get sad.
We used to be able to, listen to that and be like, that guy is crazy. Yeah. And be like, this is fun.
Yeah.
And instead of, oh no, they're rallying around this point.
It's like an anti-drug video in middle school where like, you kids like cannabis? Well, you're going to end up in a gutter somewhere. It's like, oh no.
Gateway drug,
It
sir.
looks so much fun. All right, let's get into the meat of the show.
Word.
We're going to be talking about Jake's recommendation for me first.
Yeah.
Which he gave me. Physical Media Jake was back.
Yeah.
Giving me a DVD and 4K DVD double copy.
Yes, sir. 4K.
Of the 1978 documentary The Last Waltz by Martin Scorsese, which covered the Thanksgiving Day 1976 concert put on by Canadian rock group The Band. That threw me off for so long. I was trying to get that to play with my PlayStation, and it's like, won't find disc. And I was like, you better find this disc. It's because I put in the 4K UHD one instead of the Blu-ray one.
Oh, you tried to put it in the PS4.
Yeah.
All right, because your PS5 is a 4K
Well, that's
player.
all the way upstairs.
I was just saying, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, because I got
No, I watched it. So, Jake, give us a little background on this and why you recommended it for me. Because I got to tell you, this is something like I mentioned last week. I thought I had seen this. I think I've seen clips and certain songs. I don't know if I had ever actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
Us being south, you more south, Florida, and me, Virginia, like, you're going to know who the band are.
I claim Virginia now, yeah.
Yeah, I would say you're a Virginian.
Yeah,
but
sorry, Florida.
But
shit's getting a little sticky.
There's no way you haven't seen the Last Waltz in passing, around here. And, like, that's just one of the things. It was something that was on at some of my family's parties. At some point, it'd be on the TV.
Yeah, because it's kind of nice. You throw that on TV, and it's kind of like you have music.
Yeah.
And
we'd either be sitting around watching it,
Yeah.
like getting high and watching it, or getting drunk and watching it, or getting drunk and playing darts and watching it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just on all the time. But I never really sat down and, like, consumed it until Criterion was having one of their wild sales that they don't talk about. They just like, hey, here's a sale real quick.
A flash sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Last Waltz was like one of the top ones on there. And I was like, okay, yep, I'll pick that right up. And I got it. And when it came in, I watched it and I was like, oh, wait, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, every single part of it is beautiful. I love the music in it. I love all the guests. The poetry is fucking weird, but good. And the interviews are so candid. It's like the greatest. That's what the stuff that I like to see. So what did you think?
So yeah, I did like it, and like I said, I heard I knew most of the songs. Anybody, if you're unfamiliar with who the band is, I would say their most well-known songs are probably "Up on Cripple Creek,"
Yeah.
"The Wait,"
Yeah, The Wait, I would say.
A litany of other ones. But this is a concert where they all got together in. What was the name of the theater? The Winterland Ballroom in San Francisco.
Yeah.
This is in 1976. The band, their main group, which was Rick Danko, Levon Helm, Garth Hudson, Richard Manuel, and Robbie Robertson, they're like, this is our last concert as the band. The band had been a great touring band for other acts. Like, they had supported people, and then they did the band, and they were just like, this is our last time performing all together live. They got all their friends to come out.
They're big name friends.
So other people that came out, Van Morrison, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Eric Clapton, Muddy Waters,
Hell yeah.
Bob Dylan, Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones, Dr. John, Ringo Starr,
Yes, sir.
Neil
Diamond shows up.
Neil Diamond.
That's when I was like, oh, wow. He's kind of cool.
But then it was also cut in with some in-studio set things. Like they did The Wait with the Staple Singer, sorry.
Yes.
That was in studio, and they also did Evangeline with Emmylou Harris, and that was in studio.
And both of those were great recordings.
Yes,
too.
they were. Yeah, it's about 2 hours long. It's 20... Hold on. I pulled this up. 25 songs.
Damn.
So
that's a collection for you right there.
And then it's so out of, let's say it's 2 hours long, I would say an hour 45 is songs.
Yeah.
And then it's
I would say it's mostly songs.
Little like vignettes in between. Almost
Yeah.
like if you're listening to an album, like an old punk album, an old rap album that would have like skits in between.
Yeah.
Or interludes, however they would want to
Now
call
come
it.
the wolves, but that was a part of the song, I guess.
Yeah. But they would have like some shit like that in between. And it was just that, little candid interviews, little
just nice little
stories
spots.
from the road and shit like that.
Things that you could tell were extremely important to these guys.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the part that was great because they were like, we're trying to get this guy on tour with us, and we're talking to him, and he was like, so what's the money like? And he's like, I'm not gonna lie, the money's not good, but the pussy's fantastic. And it was like almost every interview they talk about, it's like, it was the women out there, man. I just love these guys. They're absolutely rock and roll right there.
The other fun thing about this is it was directed by Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Amazing filmmaker and everything like that. Apparently, I talked to one of our mutual friends who knows way more about this shit than I do. And he's one of the people.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And he had been trying to get me to watch this since fucking high school.
Oh, I got you.
I'm sure. And
I bet he's proud of me.
I was asking him about it, why it was so important and things like that. And there was a lot of shenanigans backstage. Did you know this was one of the first uses of film editing to edit something out of a moving picture?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I guess what it is?
Yes, you can.
Does it involve Neil Young?
It does involve Neil Young.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of cocaine underneath his nose.
So apparently he came out and played a song, and a noticeable cocaine booger hanging out of his nose that they had to edit and post. And I had one of my Google Docs ready for this. and just typing stuff. And eventually I started grooving to the music and stuff.
Yeah.
And the only thing I've written down is Neil Young is outside of his mind high during the last song.
Yeah.
Because they all come together at the end. Bob Dylan's kind of the closing act of famous people that
but
come
they bring
out.
out everybody. Yeah.
And Neil Young is just not there.
He wasn't there when he walked out to do Helpless.
No.
You could just see him
Nailed
just
it,
looking.
though.
Yeah, he's a beautiful singer.
Well, he had
but
cocaine
you just see him
in
looking
his nose.
at everybody and just smiling and just ready.
So it was great. It's definitely a 3.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
This did have, and one of the interesting things about this is it's such a great time capsule for an era in pop music history. Yeah. And the band, God damn this Canadian wildfire.
No.
UFO cover up.
Damn it.
Fucking gotta move those UFOs, dude.
You gotta get a damn air purifier. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
It's a mess. So I wanted to read something from Billy Graham, who was kind of the promoter. It was his venue that they were performing.
Yeah.
And at some point during the show, when they had an intermission, Bob Dylan said he wasn't going to perform. And then he said he was going to perform, but they couldn't film him because apparently Bob Dylan had his own thing coming out later.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to be filmed for this.
Don't Look Back? What is that?
One of those, yeah. It might have been Rolling Thunder Review. But this is Levon Helm, the drummer / singer.
Yeah.
He said, man, they were all biting their nails. I think Bill really pleaded with Bob for us for the sake of history, and he was in there for a couple minutes. It seemed like an hour. No one could believe this. Within 5 minutes left, word came down that the last 2 songs in Bob's show could be filmed. So Bob Dylan was almost not in this.
What a punk.
Yeah. And apparently Lou Kemp, who's a good friend of Bob Dylan, this is my favorite little anecdote from Billy Graham, the concert promoter. Lou Kemp, a close friend of Dylan, said, we're not filming this. And Bill just said, get out of here or I'll kill you. So while all this is going on stage, this beautiful gathering of some of the greatest
historical
artists.
Moment in rock and roll
Something it was its own little mini Woodstock, essentially, in this ballroom.
Unbelievable to document something
Neil
like this.
Young is gacked out of his brain. Bob Dylan's being a prima donna saying, I don't want to be on video. And the concert promoter saying, I will fucking kill you if you don't get out of here right now.
You don't know what
and while this is going on, Martin Scorsese's filming the whole thing.
Going beautiful.
This is great, but if there was a documentary about this, I think that should be a movie. Is a backstage,
make a biodrama of this.
Yes, of just have the Last Waltz.
We could sell this to Max easily. I hate calling.
They're
it that.
buying fucking everything.
Yeah, I hate calling it that.
Max.
Yeah.
Well, there's a writer's strike on, and we're not in the guild,
and we are scabs as shit.
Yeah,
sir.
I'll scab it up with the best of them for writers' money.
Yeah.
Not really. I think they should get paid more because I'd like to watch more stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to watch stuff.
Yeah.
And I also think people deserve to live a pretty comfy life. Everybody.
Fucking woke ass liberal over here.
No. Somebody drank the woke juice today, and I'm not talking about the coffee.
Yeah, I'm out here trying to see through the fog to see the aliens. We're an eclectic pair. So yeah, this is a fantastic thing. I think it's a great piece of media.
Yes.
I think it is worth anybody checking out.
Yeah. I would say if you could own a copy, you should. You look super fucking cool if you own a copy.
And the band, we're not really talking about them because they speak for themselves.
I love the band.
Yeah.
And
all of them are great. Apparently there was some backstage stuff with or later afterwards that some of the other members felt that Robbie Robertson was just kind of using this as his own personal pump piece since the band was kind of breaking up. Robbie Robertson tried to make himself the star, so to speak. He does have a little tag at the ending, and it's a little one-on-one because apparently he was a lot closer with Martin Scorsese, and Robertson's a producer on that film.
Robertson is the only one of the band marked as a producer, so I mean, it kind of makes sense that it would askew his way. Yeah. And also, that's not a bad idea if your main
source
mode
of income is going away.
And you're well, maybe I can pivot a little bit. Yeah. Go ahead, bud.
But yeah, I think it's great. I think the band is one of those groups. And what I also liked about them, and this showcases it perfectly, is I think every member of the band sings one song, at least. Yeah. Has lead vocals on it. Kind of like
I think
thing.
So. Levon Helm.
Yeah.
I think I love Levon Helm's voice.
Well, he's the classic,
Yeah.
the band. He does Up on Cripple Creek, and
He does The Wait, and that's the one that always gets to me. I love that song very much.
I think one cool thing about this is it opens the first song in the documentary was their encore. They came back out and they did Don't Do It, which is a great song. And it was just kind of funny that at the beginning of the documentary is their encore, and then it goes back to the start of the concert, which is
beautiful,
just really, really great.
I think if somebody just has a passing knowledge of the band and watches this movie, they'll be surprised at how many songs they pick up on.
For sure.
And they'll be like,
For sure.
wow, like these guys wrote a lot of really good hits.
Yeah.
Because they're extremely talented. This thing is wonderfully shot. I saw the 4K one, and I thought
It looks great, too.
Yeah.
Like, watching the Blu-ray remaster, there's one, I think it's, what fucking song is it? I think it's when Dylan was doing, no, it was when they did Ophelia. It had a little shot from behind Levon Helm, because Levon Helm's a drummer, but he also sings.
He's like in the middle.
So his camera is set, it's not traditional band setup where, the drummer would be like on risers in the back. He's like right up front.
Yeah.
And it has this great shot, and I was shocked by how good the restoration was to HD, because that always kind of throws me off, where I'm like, how can you restore it to HD when if you play the stuff, it looks like that? And I know it's computers and whatever.
Well, it's analog into digital.
Right.
So that now instead of like putting, like there's no size to an analog, like in digital.
I don't know.
So like we can measure digital, you know, but we can't have that type of measurement on analog. So like we could put more of an analog picture into a pixel if the pixel is like a bigger bucket.
Gotcha.
You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah. But it does whatever restoration or nonsense they did to it. It's
It looks
fantastic.
beautiful.
Yeah, it looks better than anything you find on YouTube.
Yeah, I
of
think
clips from this.
you get this, you throw a dinner party with your friends,
Just put it on the background, man.
put it on the background.
Do it every
everybody's gonna be like,
Thanksgiving,
what is
because
this?
they filmed this on Thanksgiving.
That's true.
That'd be a fun little thing to do.
Oh my gosh, I want to make that a thing.
You gonna do that a thing now?
We'll make that a thing.
Start a little tradition. I like it. All right, so that one gets a 3 from me. So let's move on to my recommendation for Jake, 2022 fantasy romance history drama.
Yeah.
3,000 Years of Longing. So this is
Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
Co-written and directed by George Miller
Yep.
of Mad Max and Fury Road and Road Warrior and
Happy Feet. And
Happy Feet and Babe 2, Pig in the City.
Babe 2. Babe
Yeah.
Harder.
So he's the director of all that. It is
They should have called it Die Hard 2. Hard in the City. Oh, I just thought of that. I think it's the best thing I've ever
You want
thought
to write
of.
it down so you don't forget it?
Can we call it? Can we?
The writers are on
tiger-
strike, Jacob. We pretty much have run of the town at this point.
McLean in the City.
That would have been funny. So it's a story about Alethea, that's Tilda Swinton's character, and she's a caller, I think, a scholar. What was her official
Storyteller.
term? Storyteller.
Narrator.
Narratologist. That's
Yeah,
what she was. So she studies history, the history of storytelling and everything like that. So mythology to everything else. She studies fiction. And she goes to speak at a conference in Istanbul, and she finds a djinn trapped in a bottle, and it takes off from there. It's framed up where it's her character telling the story,
Yes.
which is jarring at first I feel you really settle into it, where it's just like, this is a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Everything looks real, everything like that. It's set in the modern era. But, there's
This is a fairy tale.
high fantasy elements.
I really liked how it started
going
with that.
on.
It was like, this really happened to me.
Right. It's going to sound like a fairy tale,
Yeah.
but it really happened.
Yeah. That was a really cool way to start it off.
I think it was a good way of putting that into the context.
Like almost at the beginning of the film, like mystical things started happening,
So then she meets up with the djinn, and it goes back to the djinn telling his life story of the three other times he got imprisoned
How
in the
he
bottle.
came to be here. Yeah.
And it goes back to the Queen of Sheba, the court of Suleiman the Great,
Yeah.
and just through history and his interactions with humans and shit like that, and his Wishes with Alethea.
Yep.
I thought it was great. Here's why I recommended it to you.
Please.
If you had recommended this to me, I would have given it a 2. I watched it, and it's not one of those recs. I'm trying to do a different thing with recs now, where I'm really like, I think you'll like it more than I like it.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to talk about that because I recommend you things I know you like that I like too. That we're just sitting here going like, "Isn't this awesome? It's fucking great.
We did so good.
These guys sound like Harvey Danger.
We
I
should
love
be
them.
best friends."
Yeah. So I watched that.
That's interesting.
I watched this because it was on my Amazon. It popped up. It's like new, and I'm like, "Oh, George Miller did this," and I watched it, and I was like, "I think Jake would like this a lot more than I liked it."
Yeah,
seems more of his type of thing. So that's why I'm recommending it to you.
That's amazing
because up your alley.
Yeah, I really like that approach, sir.
Right?
That's a good move.
Fucking A.
I'm kind of jealous.
Getting pretty good at this. Like 28 episodes in. So yeah, what'd you think about it, Jake?
Since we're going to talk about it like that, I'll start up at front. It's a 3. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was lovely. I thought the framing was fantastic. Like we said, the start of it just being like, this is fairy tale. I mean, it's true, but it's fairy tale. And you just got to listen. And the way that she's telling a story and how she's telling the story about the genie telling the stories, that's another way of framing it.
Story inside a story. It's a Frankenstein situation.
It's also, about her writing the story of this, by the end of it. Mm-hmm. It's a lot about, like the different cultures of the East and the West and how, the mysticism of the East kind of erodes away through time after a while, but it's still prominent to some people. It also has the racial overtones that you feel at to the end where they're like, you just don't want these types of people,
right.
Fish belong in the sea, birds belong in the air.
Yeah.
These people belong over there.
After she leaves Istanbul with her
the djinn.
Idris Elba, she does go back to London, and then there's like little scenes of, he doesn't belong there, so to speak, everything like that. She has racist neighbors. Yeah. And I just thought it plays on the genie tropes pretty well.
I think it did that really well. I think it was captivating just because Idris Elba is so amazing.
He's a great actor.
And Tilda Swinton is so awesome.
Fantastic.
Having a movie where like most of it is just them in a hotel room talking to each other.
That is, I think we should go, because I doubt most people have seen this. And, spoilers for it, I guess, but still, even if you know what's going to happen, it's worth sitting down and watching.
It's even in the tagline. It talks about if you're going to make a movie about 3 wishes, it's going to be...
That's my favorite part of this was the kind of meta commentary, because Tilda Swinton's character is a narratologist.
Yeah.
So she immediately says when Idris Elba shows up and he's gigantic, comes out of this bottle, shrinks down to normal person size. Well, Idris Elba size, which is not normal person size because he's a gigantic
big boy.
Yeah. He's an imposing character. And he says, you got your 3 wishes. And she says, no, I don't want to do this because there's no story where someone gets 3 wishes and it ever ends well.
Yeah.
And then he goes back and tells
She also
stories.
talks about that. She says that, but she also says that, no, I don't have any parents. I don't have any kids. I don't have any siblings.
Yeah,
like,
not married.
I'm alone, but I am completely content. And she's like, I don't see why it's necessary that I would need anything.
Right.
Especially when there's
it's a good cold, logical approach to being like, I don't need anything right now, and there's a chance this goes horribly wrong.
And I like that because she's like, I don't need anything. And he's like, then you're a liar. And he's like, why would I want to, rock the boat? He's like, oh, and you're a coward as well.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
So it's written really well.
It's written so well.
It's based, let me see if I can get this. It's based on a book, The Djinn in the Nightingale's Eye by A.S. Byatt.
Yeah.
She was not involved in the movie, though. That was George Miller, and Augusta Gore wrote the screenplay.
Yeah. I kind of want to read this short story. But a thing that I thought that was very powerful in this movie was a lot of the story, it takes place 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 200 years ago, but they're all talking a different language, He starts with, most of it's in, Ottoman Turkish?
Yes.
And so it's like, they don't even translate it for you in dialogue.
Yeah, there is one scene where they're speaking and it's not subtitled at all.
Yeah.
And I really like that because it was
wonderful.
It kind of, and all the actors in this are great. Like even going back to
That's
the actress that played the Queen of Sheba. And I guess, like, so he has, first of all, he's in the court of the Queen of Sheba. And it goes back to the Queen of Sheba is part jinn. And that's, you know, something that's in mythology. The Queen of Sheba is, you know, a character in so many different cultures.
And then King Solomon.
Right. So that was my favorite thing where I was in on this. When he's telling the story and Tilda Swinton's character says, you know, because she portrays herself as the person that has all the answers. I know all the stories, everything like that. And she said, well, the jinn says that King Solomon came to see the Queen of Sheba. She says, no, all the stories say that she went to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I was fucking there.
Yeah, he's like, I was there.
Don't tell me my business.
So
I was there.
Oh my god!
And I like that where I'm like, oh, fucking little revisionist history thing.
I also like how he is a fantasy creature, but he's also like, you know, how'd you get in the bottle? And he's like,
I'm an idiot.
He's like, I'm just an idiot.
I goofed.
Yeah, I love too hard, and I'm an idiot for it.
So he has 3 main stories. He has the one with the Queen of Sheba.
Yep.
He has the one with the brothers, who are the princes of Suleiman the Great. Suleiman the Magnificent. Sorry.
Yes, Suleiman.
Sorry.
The
Magnificent. Not just great. He's magnificent.
Yeah. Just to look at him.
And then later, a bride that was married off to a old rich merchant, and she's like very bookish. She wants to learn and yada yada. But in her culture, women aren't allowed to really go to school.
She's
or
basically
like that.
locked in a room.
Her name was Zafir.
Zafir.
Yeah.
Yes, Zafir.
And then he kind of starts a relationship with her. That's pretty much the longest one out of them. And, you know, she gets into a fight with him and says, I wish we had never met.
I wish I forgot
about
met you.
Yeah. And that's right when he's going into the bottle to
stay away. She keeps her knowledge hidden in bottles.
And so he's fucked for 600 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all 3 stories were fantastic.
Yeah.
They're told so well. And, like, they have such a great sense of humor about them inside of it. They're shot so beautifully. The brothers...
It's very George Miller, some of the shots, though.
Yes.
You see him poking through. And it's kind of fun to see a filmmaker take on something that they don't normally do.
Something that we're not used to seeing, but still framed in the way that you would see a Mad Max movie in.
Right. That's kind of why I liked Django. Like, I'm not a Tarantino guy, but I like Django because I was like, oh, let's watch fucking Clint Eastwood do a Western. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Like, I would, if Clint Eastwood, there's always been rumors that he says that he wants to do a Star Trek movie. If Clint Eastwood wanted to make Star Trek. And if Quentin Tarantino wanted to make a...
you kept saying Clint Eastwood.
Quentin Tarantino, sorry. Quentin Tarantino wants to make a Star Trek. And if he wanted to make one, I would be like, yeah, I'd watch it, though. I want to see what he does with that.
He actually has a movie coming out that I'd be perfect for.
Really? Oh, the critic or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who writes movie reviews for a porn magazine.
Everyone else is on strike, Jake, so...
Do you not think that I would not be perfect for that role?
I think you would.
Yeah, all right.
But then I'd have to hear you talk about Quentin all the time, and you would say something like, I was talking to Q.
Yeah,
and
I would definitely be that.
Wait till people would be like, Q? It's like, oh, Quentin Tarantino? Have you met him? My dumb friend keeps calling him Clint Eastwood for some reason.
I'll do this. Let me introduce my dog. Quentin, come in here. I named him after my friend Quentin Tarantino. Perhaps you've heard of him.
You'd be insufferable.
Yes, sir.
We digress. The end of the movie. Run us through that.
So, the Brother Solomon story had a really great time because that was one of the times when they had just another fantasy element implemented with just, you know, he wanted to go save this woman that was doing the wishes. And there was just another guard there that was a monster type thing.
Yeah.
And he didn't explain it.
Nope.
He didn't go into it. It was just like, I was going to save her, but this motherfucking monster was there.
What do you want us to do about that?
And it was creepy. It was a really well done monster.
Yeah.
And like those small fantasy elements like that is what draws me into a story like this, where the lore is there, but it's like it's not important to the story. So you don't have to
it does
delve deep into it that hard.
And I think that's one of the good things about Tilda Swinton's character, knowing all that stuff, is because it sends you in here knowing like what a genie is.
Yes.
Like it's great. The opening scene or Idris Elba's first scene, where he first comes out of the bottle, he kind of acting like sluggish and stuff. He's doesn't speak any language. She starts speaking to him
Yeah.
in ancient Greek.
Yeah, that's when
And
he
he's
picks
like,
up.
oh, you know the language of Homer.
Again, another time when they're having a conversation, but they never subtitle it.
Right.
They just have a conversation in ancient Greek that we can't understand, but we can get through context.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, and so that's just really well shot. But I like how he gets out and he's just like, you got 3 wishes. Like, you know the fucking drill. Like, and she, as a narratologist, doesn't have that thing that I feel we could skip over now. Mm-hmm. It's something, you brought this to my attention with that game, Forspoken.
Yeah.
Where the narrator is always like, oh, so you're telling me that this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we get it. You don't need to be like, a genie, blah, blah, blah. She's just like,
3 wishes? Why not
right.
4?
And then she's just like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
She's like, no.
No,
yeah,
idiot, get out of here.
That was great when he pops out the bottle and you could tell that she sees him. And she's like, I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to count the 3. Would you please leave when my eyes are open?
Exactly opposite reaction. That is like cliche.
It was perfect.
Like those little touches are great. Because Miller does that too in Fury Road. Like Fury Road, I think, is my favorite of the Mad Max movies.
Definitely.
And it doesn't really have much of a setup. Like, you don't need to know why the world's like that. You don't need to know anything. It's just like, this dude's got water and he's treating women shitty, and she's trying to get the women out, and he's tied to the front.
Yeah.
And go.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, fucking figure it out, man. Mm-hmm. And he does that with this, where it's just like, he doesn't need to hold your hand as a storyteller. He's definitely one of those guys. It's like, either you're coming with me or I'm going to leave you behind, because I don't have time to fucking
That's a good way to put
hold your hand through this. And he's very straightforward. If you watch Babe 2 Pig in the City, he doesn't spoon feed it to you. He's like, the pig can talk, stupid. Figure it out.
I'm not going to tell you about Bahram you if you don't know what that is by now.
Yeah. Why can the pig talk to a mouse? Shut up, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So the other thing that I think that this movie delves into pretty well is just the complication of relationships, considering just like the idea of romance by itself.
Yeah.
Like some people it clicks really fast, but like the relationship that they have, basically he talks about all the loves that he's had in his life, and she talks about how all the love that she just never had.
Yeah.
And then she realizes toward the end of the movie that she was like, yeah, I'd kind of like, I wish that me and you could have that love that you had with those other women. Mm-hmm. And so she gets that for a little while, and she sees it's a good life.
Yeah.
You know, they actually really do love each other, and they're having a great time, but she realizes that it's draining him.
Right.
You know,
it's
like
something,
he can't
the
live.
electromagnetic fields, like he says, that it's, that was kind of fun too, with taking the tropes of, you know, ancient magic becoming technology.
Yes.
Or he's just like, oh, you all have, you know, everything that you're seeing the world like we do now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, you're not going to be as happy for it either, because
and
it's fucking killing him.
And that's the thing that he talks about that I liked. He's just like, you know, you're easily replacing stuff that we could do. You know, you have no need for jinns and angels these days with what you guys have. And he's like, and yet here you are.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
But then she realizes, you know, it's literally draining him. Like he's dying.
Yeah, he gets all curled up in the basement.
Yeah, and she says like, oh, like I want you to love me because you wanted to love me, not
But
because
as
I
soon as
wished
she
it.
wished for that,
But as soon as I wished it,
happen.
you could never do it again.
Uh-huh.
And she wished that.
Tied that up in a nice little bow.
Yeah, and he's like, I just wish that you could.
It's fucking
go and live your life the way that
it's the Heisenberg uncertainty thing, or Schrodinger's cat. You can't fucking observe or like you can't wish for something and then have it be the way you want it to be, because how you want it is not having to wish for it.
But so she makes the wish after that, which is
return him to the world of the jinn.
No, she's, I wish that you lived the life that you wanted to live, and that's when it cuts to 3 years later, and she's writing on a bench. She's finishing up the book.
Right, a little fairy tale.
She sees a cute couple kiss, and she's like, oh, you can see it. You hear somebody say, you know, mommy, and the girl's running towards Tilda. He's like, that's not your mommy, you silly girl. And you can see that she's like, oh, no, you know, I've missed out on so much of my life for no romance. And then you see the djinn just walking up.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, he comes visits me every once in a while and always stays longer than he should. And every time he leaves, he says he'll be back in my lifetime. And that's all I need to hear.
It's very sweet.
That's all
It's a sweet little ending.
That's a lot of what my relationships are when I have like a romantic relationship. they're usually short and strong, and we don't hate each other afterwards. We'll still see each other sometimes, or we'll still talk to each other, and like that's good enough for me. You know,
Yeah.
that's something that really resonated with me pretty hard.
Yeah.
Just
She
being
sits
like,
on a park bench. You're
Yeah.
in a bottle for 600 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sitting on a park bench, and then
Writing the stories.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I'll
thought this was
be-
a cute little modern fairy tale.
I'll be
and I-
walking through Manassas, going to like Zandra's or something, and I'll run into my ex-girlfriend,
Huh.
you know, and it would just be like, "Oh, hey, like it's really good to see you." It's like really good to see you. Hey,
Yeah.
what are we doing? It's like, it's great. And then, oh, okay, I'll see you. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that was really nice.
Yeah, you like
know?
emotional shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
I knew
don't
you'd like this.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
So this
It's
is my
really
first
good.
one of a 2 for me and a 3 for
I know.
3 for thee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that weird?
The fucking
I
A.
loved it though, dude.
I'll take it.
That was a great suggestion.
Yeah.
Way to go, man. I appreciate that.
So that is available on Amazon right now.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna have to buy that movie.
Oh, you going back to physical media, Jake?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
With 3,000 Years of Longing?
Yeah. I'm going to be rewatching this movie.
Really?
There's a lot that I need to pick up on.
Fucking A. It's well written.
There's a lot more to pick up because I'll just give you a little hint. The bigot neighbors, you know, she gave it to him.
Oh,
by the
yeah,
end.
yeah.
You're just being like, you guys are bigot. You're small-minded, and she thought about it, and she picked up the treat that the djinn made for her at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And she just like, oh, hold on. She went over to her neighbors, and she was like, you know, these are gonzo beans with, you know, these spices on it.
Yeah.
They're delicious. And then this is my
My friend, he's going to be
Yeah.
staying with me for a while.
This is my friend. That's, you know, just like being like, look, like these
Yeah.
people, this culture creates these
Stuff
things
like this.
that you're gonna fucking love.
Yeah.
It's from this guy right here.
Yeah.
And like, that's just giving a little introduction to the bigots, being like, look, there's cool shit that you're missing out on.
We'll go into the part that he's magic and stuff later. But
Yeah.
right now,
But right now, check out
these are delicious.
delicious garbanzo beans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yes,
All right, so
absolutely.
that's 3,000 Years of Longing.
A 3 for 3,000 years long.
Fantastic work, everybody. All right, so if you like the show, please make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel if you'd like. Like on whatever platform you're doing. You rate it 5 stars. You can follow us on Instagram at upyouralleypod. Tell some friends about the show. That's a real good way to spread it around. Oh, I forgot to tell you my other idea for a podcast that I thought of.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So stick with me on this.
Yeah, okay.
I probably shouldn't tell it on this podcast, but I'm going to, because people that listen to this podcast can be a part of it. It's a mystery podcast with you and me playing against each other.
Okay.
So I've been obsessed with like the analytics and shit, and it could tell you like in your listeners in Virginia, you have this. Like I've shown you, it says this in Annandale, this in Arlington, then you got DC, Maryland, shit like that, and you can find it. So we go by fucking Fight Club rules, where you're not supposed to tell anybody about the podcast, but each of us tell one person. You have to tell that person in person, and then next week you tell them to listen to the podcast, and then next week we look at the analytics and find out where that person is when they listen to it, and then they tell one person, and we try to figure out who the first person that we each told was. It sounds really complicated.
Yeah, we're gonna
But
have
for
to
some
whiteboard
reason,
this one.
For some reason, I was like, "That's a genius way of a podcast." The whole point of the podcast is don't tell anybody about it. Because you remember that scene
like
in
that kind of-
Fight Club?
Do I remember
Fight
that
Club was
scene
on
in
TV. Fight Club was on TV. So Fight Club was on TV, and it's that scene where Edward Norton and Meatloaf get back together after Edward Norton's been Fight Clubbing all over the
Yeah.
place. Well, Brad Pitt's been doing most of the Fight Clubbing, but they're the same
Yeah.
person. Spoilers for Fight Club.
Yeah.
And
It's like, well, first off, I'm not supposed to talk about this. Club.
yeah, and he's like, "I'm already a member."
Yeah.
I want that. It's like, I want you to listen to this podcast.
that.
And it's like, hey, I already listened to that podcast.
We're gonna have to. We'll whiteboard it. We'll whiteboard it. I like this.
If that sounds interesting to you, you can email us for now at upyouralleypod at gmail.com and send us your recommendations for what you think, or I think it's a good idea. I'm stuck on it.
I think it's got legs, and I want to see
Secret
how far it
podcast.
travels.
Yeah, we're fantastic. So, yeah, let's get into what we're going to be getting into next week. Jake, what do you have recommended for me?
All right. So I'm trying to split it here
Splitting it.
because I watched this movie and I enjoyed it, and I'm wondering, have you seen Shape of Water?
Fish fucking movie.
Fish fucking movie.
No, I've not seen the fish fucks.
Let's watch the fish fucking movie, bud.
Okay.
That's
Academy Award-winning fish fucking movie. That's Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
I know the basic gist of it, but I've never sat down and watched it, no.
Have you seen any other Guillermo del Toro movies?
Hellboy.
And your thoughts?
Hellboy 2.
And your thoughts?
Great. And I've seen some other little things he did, and I've seen he's great in an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Get yourself on Hulu. Watch yourself some Shape of Water, bud.
Shape of Water on Hulu.
It's watch the 3,000 Years of Longing. It was jogging a lot of Shape of Water inside of me, but I think you'll like this more.
Wait, so I'm doing two things?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll like this more than 3,000 Years of Longing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I will check that out.
The other thing's Clone High. Just watch that.
Yeah, Clone High is coming back.
I'm already watching it. It's already back.
And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is back,
4
too.
episodes out of Clone High.
Is it?
Yes.
Fuck.
I've been watching them all.
I'm an idiot.
It's fun.
I've been watching your recommendation, which is available on Amazon. It's actually from a service called Freevee, which I don't know what Freevee is, but you can watch it if you have Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's a 2023 series. It's a sitcom called Jury Duty.
Oh my God, that's the.
Are you familiar with the show?
That's the one where everybody is in on the joke, but the main character.
So there's one guy. It's set in a jury trial in Los Angeles, civil trial. So you're not like criminal charges or anything like that. Civil trial where they're suing people for money, and there's a jury impaneled, and this conceit of it is that they're filming the jury to find like the inner workings of the American legal system. And there's this guy whose name is Ronald Gladden. He's the only one that's not an actor. Mm-hmm. Out of the bailiff, the judge, the lawyers, everyone else on the jury, they're all actors. And it's just him. And it's one of the funniest things I've seen. There's only 8 episodes. I'll tell you just to watch the first 2. You're going to watch more.
This sounds like Corncob TV's Coffin Flop.
It is a little coffin flop, but it's also
great.
It wouldn't work if this guy, Ronald Gladden,
Go ahead.
He's great.
Yeah.
He just seems like a nice. They found the perfect person to be like, this is important, so I have to act a good way, but also he's just so funny and laughing at shit.
Oh, great.
And the way the absurd, and one of the people on the jury, it's not a spoiler, it's in all the things, is James Marsden. Playing James Marsden, the actor.
That's cute.
And it starts with like James Marsden like being like, "Oh, you probably recognize me," and he's like, "Oh yeah, X-Men." He's like, "People always go to X-Men." It's like, then a lot of other things. Notebook,
Sonic
the Hedgehog.
I've been talking about Sonic for like the past 2 weeks.
He brings that up, and the guy Ronald was just like, "You were in the Sonic movie?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was." And he's like, "Who were you? Like Jim Carrey?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's James Marsden.
Poor James Marsden, dude.
It's fantastic.
I would give him 30 Rock if I saw him. I was like, "You are freaking great, 30 Rock, dude."
But it's just worth it.
I love to watch it.
I love a hidden camera thing. It's a little pranky.
Good.
It's a little, it's law driven, but everyone just commits to it so well.
Awesome.
And this guy's just so entertaining to watch because like these hidden camera prank shows, if the person that's not in on the joke is like too much of an asshole, you don't like it. If if it seems like cruel that you're pranking this person, they're not going to like it. But this guy, I don't know how the fuck they found him.
If it's staged, it's annoying to watch something like that.
I don't know how the fuck they found this guy, but he seems like the coolest dude in the world.
Knocked it out of the park.
You just want to fucking like go hang out.
See, the only reason we're talking about Freevee is because we're talking about Jury Duty.
Well,
that's
the only
why
way
it's Coffin Flop. It's a Corn Cob TV.
Yeah,
So the
I
guy
didn't do
for
this.
Freebie is going.
How many times have you rewatched I Think You Should Leave, by the way?
I've seen the second season more than any other one.
Yeah, second season's I think still the best. But
I've watched the third season through.
I would
fantastic.
say the seasons don't really count in that show. You could put them on shuffle.
They should allow that.
Yeah,
where you just
shuffle all the
scenes.
sketches. Yeah, they're not interconnected.
The Patty Harrison scene skit from the new season is fantastic.
Fucking,
I love it.
The animal, the pig in the Nixon mask coming through the.
That one's so good.
Yeah.
They're still cold coming out of the same scenes. I'm just so happy. So
we always end up talking
I
about
didn't do
him
this.
and Tears of the Kingdom.
I didn't do this.
So, watch Jury Duty on Amazon. I'm going to watch The Shape of Water.
Hell yeah.
Shape of Water. On Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu.
Yeah. So, again, send us your emails to upyouralleypod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram @upyouralleypod. Tell your friends about the show. And thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. And thank you for coming on and talking. I love you, Jake.
I got it. Babe 3, Pig with a Vengeance.
Is that what you've been doing this whole
I
fucking time?
love you, buddy. Yeah, I'm working on it.
God damn it. See you next week. Thanks, guys.